Welcome back, friends. This should have been put out on a Tuesday, but Tuesday was my birthday. I turned 54, and it happened to be election day. So a lot was going on. But today's episode, I'm going to be pulling back the curtain or getting into the details of how to start your online business. Specifically, I'm going to be referring to how to start online business as a coach. So you might wonder why I wanted to do this. And as a personal trainer, the only way for you to grow or me to grow, to get raises, to elevate myself is to work more, as in it's time for money. And I can only see so many people in a day. I would either have to raise my hourly rates or work more hours. And that both becomes unsustainable. Like, how much more can someone charge, even if they're 20, 30 years into the business? Now, some celebrity trainers can definitely charge $1,000 or more a session. In fact, I know someone who used to work for a celebrity trainer, and that's how much she charged. And most of us cannot. And that means in order to make more, I literally have to see more clients, like work more than 10 hours a day if I want to make more. And that's not a path for growth. And so this is where having an online business, in addition to seeing people in person, comes in. One, you're not limited to the hours you have in a day. Two, you're not limited to your town or city, regional physical borders. Three, you're not limited to having to go to a specific location, like I can only make money when I go to the gym or to someone's house. And last, online business gives you a flexibility of schedule. Now, that doesn't mean you work less. It just means you have more choice of when you want to do the work during the day and where you would do it. So when I say online work or online training, I don't mean Zoom training. And while that could be part of your online business, such as doing a class or a small group, which allows you to meet with more than one person in your 45 to 60 minutes, when I'm talking about online training, online work can be best described as consulting. That's how I got my dad to understand what I do. So essentially, I consult with my clients on the best workout strategy for them individually, considering the equipment they have and the time they have available. So, like a consultant, I'm giving them a hands-on strategy on how to attain the goals. So they might, and then for me, the kind of thing that I coach on is consistency, progressively challenging strength training, and I add in plyometrics. So that's what I consult them on. And I don't just say, you got to do this more. Like, I give them a specific detailed plan of what they're doing. Now, there are tons of workout apps, and you can do this too as your online training, just creating a workout app for people to use. And what makes it different to other workout apps like a Peloton is that you are designing the workouts based on your strengths, your style, and how you like people, including yourself, to train. So there is no perfect workout app or perfect workout. It's people who would use your workout app because they believe in your principles and they would follow your workout app. So that's a general way of having an online business, but that requires a huge volume because those things usually are not charging a high monthly fee for creating generic workouts on a month-to-month basis. And what I'm talking more about today and what I want to share is what I do, which is more personalized. It's personal programming. And this is what it is, how I structure it. I first meet with a client on Zoom to do a movement assessment. And I have about 15 exercises I'm going to ask the student to do that I can see on Zoom so that I can see how she moves. And then I also will know where she might need more guidance. And during that time, sometimes I do give cues and corrections so they have an idea, but I'll note it so that I can put it in their workout. And from there, I ask them to fill out a questionnaire about what they have available to them at home. How many days do they prefer to lift? And my recommendation for a lot of people, if it's their first time strength training, is I don't want them to do more than 2 because it's a lot to adapt to. And then from there, after the meeting and the answers in the survey, I design a specific 4-week workout plan for them to follow. And where I come in, that's more than a generic workout app like a Peloton or a Nike, is that my client can message me with questions. They can send me videos to ask, does this look okay? Or I'm doing this and it feels weird. And every week, I'm checking on the app to see how the weights I chose for them, how that feels. Was it too heavy, too light? And once I know the kind of weights where they're at, I'll know how to progress them. And I also see if they've actually had the time to do the workouts. In essence, I am accountability for them. I'm a real live person who is seeing what they're doing, to answer questions, and to check to make sure they're staying consistent. Now, if it's someone new to strength training, I always suggest that they use the plan. I have a plan where we meet every other week on Zoom to go over the form of the exercises, or maybe just to even talk. So that's the format I use, and that's what I started doing pre-pandemic. Now, the question is, how do you get this online training business? And I can promise you, it took me time to get where I am, which is I handle probably about 15 clients, 15 people I work with every month. So I started becoming interested in making this part of my, training business pre-COVID in 2019. I knew that I didn't want to be beholden to time for beholden to a time for money kind of job or lifestyle where I have to work 10 to 12 hours a day forever in order to grow my business. So let's get to where it starts with social media. Yes, in order to reach your friends, your family, and potential new clients, you need to put yourself out there. Now, whenever I tell anyone this, they always reply back, I hate doing social media. I'm terrible at it. And I think it's because you're thinking of it in this way. I have to do this thing I hate. So the first thing you have to do is start off thinking of it differently. The mantra could be, I deserve to have flexibility of time, and being consistent on my social media is what will help me achieve this. In other words, don't think of it as like, oh, this sucks, I hate it. It is simply part of what you do for your flexibility of time. Now, the next question would be, well, Tina, social media, what specifically should I be using? Now, today, Instagram is often used by a lot of online businesses. And to be perfectly honest, it doesn't matter which platform you pick. It's the same as exercise. The one that you keep showing up for is what brings you progress. So with exercise, if you keep showing up and you keep doing it, you just get fitter, healthier, or stronger, whatever it is that you're doing. So for you, it could be YouTube. It could be Instagram. It could be a podcast. Consistency is the magic. And I know that sounds so cliche, but honestly, that's what it is. The more regular you are, the more likely your new students, your new clients are going to find you. So today I'm going to talk about Instagram because that is where I spend most of my work time. And note that I have business owner friends who lean into YouTube or TikTok as what they spend their time on. And that's how they grew. It doesn't matter which one you pick. It's the one that you don't mind doing. It's the one that you know you'll be able to stick with. There is even a successful business owner. I can't remember what she does. I think whatever she does. I just remember seeing her speak, and what stuck out in my mind is she doesn't use Instagram or TikTok or anything. She fully finds her business through her podcast. She is consistent as hell on her podcast, and that's how she finds clients. So now that you know you need to be consistent, what do you post? I'm going to talk about it through Instagram since that's what I use. And that's the daily responsibility that I don't mind doing. So that is the question most people have in trying to be consistent. What do I post? To start, anything about your life. You might freeze when thinking about content because there's this valid feeling that everything I post is got to be so important and relevant. And I'm telling you, it does not. Think about the accounts, the people you love to follow. You want to follow, or you would like, the whole person. You learn from them, you connect with them, you like to know things that they prefer, things about their life. And on Instagram stories, I show when I'm working out, I show what I'm eating, I show my schedule as I'm leaving. On Tuesdays, I go into the city. I show the gyms I train out of. So it's like a reality show. It's a reality show of entertainment that people just like scrolling through. And showing this part of my life allows my potential students to see me as a person and not just, oh, this fitness expert on a pedestal. It makes me much less intimidating. So whoever likes what I'm showing, what I like doing, my personality, is going to be my potential client. So first, where do you start? You need to be posting on your stories every day or almost every day. People need to know what you're up to. I remember something Shantae Cofield, she's a business coach and for a lot of fitness people. She's also known as the movement maestro. She always says, once is never. So you have to you could say the same messaging over and over again. It's okay. There's different ways to say it, different ways to show it. So remember, you got to be consistent and be posting at minimum on your stories if you're using Instagram almost every day. Now, next, let's talk about post topics, as in not the stories part. And I know I used to always think it had to carry weight, like the weight of the world. Oh, I'm going to think a lot about the caption and it's got to be, just spot on. Yes, we want to be helpful. Yes, we want to share our knowledge. And this is where we get to show off our talents and our knowledge. Now, the mistake sometimes is we're thinking, oh, what are other trainers or other people who do what I do going to think? But I ask you, who is it that you want to work with? Do you want to work with your colleagues? If that's the case, then yes, then you should be thinking about professionally this using the lingo you use in your industry. But for me, I'm working with women over 50 or probably in their late 40s. So the language I have to use has to be what they would use. Do they know all the names of muscles? Do I have to refer to it? No, but you can get a feeling of what people want or actually feeling in their bodies. And think about this client. What does he or she want? So for example, as a physical therapist, if you want to get, you're looking for more clients, you can't get too muscle technical in your posts. And in your posts, because remember, they're not physical therapists. For example, what I would love to see from a physical therapist, I would want to know as a patient is, what are some exercises for shoulder pain to help with it? Mobility exercises, because almost every person over 45 has a shoulder issue. What's a simple thing I can do for mobility every morning or before a workout? Just get consistent. So sometimes you're going to have great posts. Some are going to be mediocre. But it's the constant, consistent work that allows you to get better when you post. That's the key about content. You got to post. And sometimes I put shit out there. I'm like, that was so mediocre. But you know what? Only you remember it. Everyone else will not remember it because if you don't post that same thing again, once is never. So they probably will forget. So once you're pretty consistent in doing your social and posting, this is one of the tactics. That's the wrong word. This is a business strategy to grow in terms of clientele. So one thing that I did when I first started, this is pre-pandemic, is create a challenge. Now, we might think it's natural that our follower count is important, but whether it's be on Instagram or YouTube, whatever, but let's say Instagram was down. You know how there have been outages, or it changed their business model and you don't want to lose all the people that are following you. So the thing that you need to grow is not necessarily be focusing on continuing growing your followers. You want to think of the way that you can have direct contact with them, even if the app disappeared. And that's your email list. So what I did when I first started growing my online training business is I ran fitness challenges. It could be a 12-day fitness challenge, a 1 month. It could be free or low cost. Remember, more people will sign up if it's free. But when it's low cost, let's just say it's $15 for a 15-day challenge. You'll have more buy-in, maybe less people signing up, but the people will be more serious because whenever someone has to pay for something, they're less likely to quit. But what you're doing when you create a challenge is you're getting emails. You're getting emails and these are emails of people who really interested in what you're providing or have shown that they're interested in you. So you're getting these emails so that you can always reach them and tell them about what's going on in your business, even without the Instagram or YouTube app. This allows you to know who's following you and have direct communication with them. Now, you could even run a program like a beginner strength training program, a beginner strength training 4-week program. So the thing I wanted to also emphasize is if you decide to try running a challenge, keep your expectations small. Now, we're going to want to think, I want to get 100 people or get 30 people. But you have to remember, we start small because it allows us to learn what we need to do to run it better the next time. And since it be probably your first challenge, you're going to make some mistakes on the way. And that's totally normal. In fact, it would be shocking and something would be wrong if you weren't making some mistakes or not have things you want to tweak. Now, for example, even when I launched my new Strength and Introduction to Plyometric program recently, my goal was to get 5 people because it was something I'd never done before. And, I was just depending on my Instagram and my emails, like the existing email list. So I was like, you know what? I'll be happy with 5. And 5 is something more than I ever did before. So what I ended up getting was 4, and I was really happy about that because it allowed me, because I was still kind of figuring out the program. I knew what I wanted, but then it allowed me to realize, I should have another Zoom call during the program. Anyways, I'm getting into details that are not necessary, but less helps you learn. So even if you only have 2 people or 3 people sign up for your first time challenge, they're going to be your beta. They're your biggest fans because they signed up. And they're going to also be able to give you a lot of feedback on how the program runs. Okay, so that is one way, through creating some kind of challenge. Online coaching. This is the meat and potatoes of an online business, or at least when it comes to fitness coaching. Now, this is where most of my online business, where I do, I guess, what's the way? This is where most of my online business lies, in online coaching. And doing something like this, deciding to launch, you want one-on-one clients online or some sort of like small group, it requires you to market on your stories for at least a month. Now, before you tell me, I don't want to be selling. I hate selling. Also, you need to change your perspective on it. You're not selling. You're reaching people who want to work with you And you're not forcing it down someone's throat who doesn't want to work with you, because the people who will stay and listen are the ones who want. And you want to reach them because it allows you flexibility of time in terms of your work. Now, into talking about launching an online coaching, your online coaching with clients, the most important part of this launching, again, is the quote, "Once is never." Talk about the online coaching or whatever it is you want to be launching. People need to know. If you say it once on a Tuesday and then don't mention it again, whoever wasn't using their phone at that specific time or that day will never know. People need to know. Those who want what you have to offer, your expertise, will come to you. You don't need to be thinking about it selling. You're not going to be selling something to someone who doesn't want it. I could have the best salesman pushing cocaine on me, but I'm not a cocaine user. So even if he's telling me all this stuff, I'm like, I already know I don't want to use cocaine. So it's going to be the same for what you do. Whoever's interested will be listening, and whoever's not won't be. You're not selling. So, for example, what do you talk about? Is the program for beginners? Let your content during that month before revolve around things working for beginners. What's the challenge of being a beginner? What's one of your favorite exercises beginners like to do? Demonstrate something a beginner doesn't know how to do. Let them see what you'll be teaching and helping them with. All right. I just blabbed on for 20 minutes. I didn't even think I had that much in me to talk, but I typed out a lot. So that's a lot of information, and I'm going to distill it to a few key points to end this episode. Pick a social media platform and be consistent on it. It's not a chore. It's your right to grow as a professional in your online space. 2, launch a challenge or your actual one-on-one online coaching. Talk about it almost every day for at least a month. I've also found that starting a wait list first was very helpful. When I say talk about it, you might have a fear like people are going to think all I ever talk about is that, but you're forgetting you're in it for business. This is not your personal account. Be helpful. You share things. People will like to know what you know, and they won't mind you talking about it. Last thing, when you create your program or the online coaching, embrace the small amount of people who sign up. These special people trust you. You'll learn how you like to work in the online coaching. Like that's how I figured out my format, just from doing things and be like, oh, I don't like this. I like this amount of time checking in, etc. Embrace the smaller amounts in the beginning. You're not ready for the bigger amounts. I surely was not in the beginning. And this allows you to learn what you want to change and tweak. So it takes time, but it's truly something where what you put in is exactly what you're going to get out of it. And that's everything that I've got. And I could talk about more at another time, but don't hesitate to send me a direct message on Instagram. I'm at Iron Strong Fit, or email me any questions. My email is tina@ironstrongfitness.net. This is most definitely one of my favorite topics to share and brainstorm with other trainers. Like, I don't charge. I literally will talk about with someone like, this is what you got to do. In fact, in about 3 minutes, I'm going to be talking with another trainer about how he can grow his online business. I'll talk to you next time, and thanks again for listening. I'm Coach Tina. For more information about how to work with me, head to ironstrongfitness.com and send me a message. I'll see you next time.